For the past several years, really the last decade, George Takei has proved himself to be a complete woke lunatic. And for somebody who never really was that relevant to begin with,
somehow, some way, things continue to get worse for Star Trek. Starfleet Academy has been a total embarrassment for Paramount.
Even though we got the news that Star Trek Starfleet Academy, by my count, the worst show to come out so far in 2026, and look...
Gone woke. Yes, suddenly. It's suddenly gone woke. After 60 years, they did it.
That would make Gene Roddenberry turn in his grave.
In what's being described as one of the most dramatic confrontations in entertainment history, the original cast of Star Trek led...
Fix this. Fire them. Or we burn it all down publicly. Star Trek Legends detonated a woke bomb inside Paramount, and the shockwave is still expanding.
That maybe they're contemplating getting rid of Kurtzman, which would be fantastic. I don't know who they bring in next, but man, anybody is better than him.
Starfleet Academy launched to 1,500 live viewers, 100 million gone. William Shatner, Patrick Stewart, and Jonathan Frakes united against the same target, Paramount's current leadership. By the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through all 8 explosive items from the Legends revolt that sent executives into full panic mode. Item 1.
Hell, man. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This right here is the absolute state of Star.
Late April 2026, 6 Star Trek legends walked into Paramount headquarters for the most direct cast versus studio confrontation in franchise history. William Shatner, Patrick Stewart, Jonathan Frakes, Brent Spiner, Robert Picardo, all in one room, all aimed at the same target. According to people in the room, the message was not subtle. End this nightmare. Remove the people destroying it, or scorched earth goes public. And Paramount blinked. Sources say executives, who had stonewalled fan complaints for a decade, blinked for the first time. 6 decades of franchise firepower, 6 decades of cultural authority, all concentrated into a single ultimatum delivered face to face. These are not anonymous critics. These are the faces that built Star Trek into a 10 billion property. Shatner is Captain Kirk. Stewart is Picard. Frakes directed some of the most beloved episodes in the entire canon. When they walk into your conference room together, you do not dismiss them. You listen. And the message they delivered was savage. Insiders described the atmosphere as unlike anything Paramount had seen from its own talent.
Out by the next millennia. Guys, I can't do it anymore. In this one, they are literally defiling Star Trek Voyager.
I think that the real problem is that the stories they used to tell had like multiple levels of complexity, morality, ethics, logic, value.
Ever. Ryan Cannell has the details on exactly what was said inside that room. And here is the financial wreckage that handed the Legends their most devastating weapon. Starfleet Academy launched on Paramount Plus with 1,500 live viewers, not 1.5 million, not 150,000, 1,500. For a flagship Star Trek series carrying a $100 million production budget, that number is not a disappointment. That is a catastrophe. That is the most humiliating launch in franchise history. Insiders' words, not mine. Run the math. $100 million spent, while some 500 people showed up. The return on investment is so grotesque that Paramount's own accounting teams reportedly could not explain it in a meeting without audible silence in the room. Every dollar spent on Starfleet Academy produced almost nothing. Not a cultural moment, not a rating story, nothing. And this is the number the Legends carried into that conference room. This is the evidence they placed on the table. Viewership collapse was cited as the primary weapon in their ultimatum, because when a franchise this old, this beloved, this globally recognized draws fewer live viewers than a mid-level Twitch streamer, something has gone catastrophically wrong at the leadership level. Fans already knew this. The audience saw it coming. The executives apparently did not. And that gap between what real audiences wanted and what Kurtzman's machine kept producing is exactly what made Starfleet.
William Shatner every once in a while does respond, just slaps him down a little bit like an annoying fly. But in a recent interview, William Shatner is absolutely slamming George Takei. William Shatner slams George Takei for continuing Star Trek feud for publicity. He's
Academy's failure so explosive as a weapon. Ryan Cannell breaks down exactly how bad these numbers look for Paramount's credibility right now. Now the numbers did the damage, but William Shatner delivered the detonation. On April 23, 2026, the original Captain Kirk, 94 years old, the man who built this franchise from nothing, went public. Not through a representative, not through a carefully worded statement from a publicist. Shatner himself, on social media, called Paramount's handling of Star Trek, quote, presentism at its finest hour. Direct quote. His words. That phrase is not an accident. Presentism, the practice of judging the past through today's ideological lens, is a precise surgical attack on exactly what critics have said Kurtzman's era does to Star Trek's legacy. Shatner did not stumble into that word, he chose it. And he fired it publicly, after Paramount ignored the Legends conference room demands. The statement hit Paramount's PR department within hours. Sources say the internal scramble was immediate, because when the man who is Captain Kirk, the face, the voice, the living embodiment of this franchise, publicly accuses studio leadership of ideological distortion, that is not a tweet. That is a press crisis. And here is what makes it more explosive. Shatner had already been in that room. He had already delivered the message privately. Paramount did not listen, so he made it public. That is not impulsive. That is deliberate. That is a man who tried the professional route, was dismissed, and then chose to let the fans hear exactly what was said. The fans heard it, and they agreed, because Shatner was saying out loud what this...
Somehow, some way, things continue to get worse for Star Trek. Starfleet Academy has been a total embarrassment for Paramount. I don't know what they're going to do, but we might have a hint.
The audience has been saying for years. Ryan Cannell has the reaction to Shatner's public detonation. But Shatner was not alone, because then Zachary Quinto broke his silence, and the collapse went franchise-wide. Quinto plays Spock in the Kelvin timeline. He is not a legacy holdout from the 60s. He is the new generation of this franchise, and he publicly exploded over the direction Paramount has taken Star Trek. His fury was direct. Quote, they made us look like fools. Aimed straight at Paramount's leadership. Quinto joined a growing faction of Kelvin cast members, refusing to return under current leadership. Not quietly stepping away. Refusing. Publicly. That distinction matters enormously, because when the actors Paramount built its reboot franchise around start using words like fools, the damage is not just reputational, it is structural. Item 1, Shatner attacks from the legacy side. Item 2, Quinto attacks from the reboot side. Item 3, the internal collapse now spans every era of Star Trek simultaneously. This is not a generational dispute. This is a franchise-wide rejection of the Kurtzman era, and Paramount cannot frame it as nostalgia from old actors anymore. The fans who loved the Kelvin films, the fans who grew up with the original series, both groups now have a voice inside that building pointing at the same problem. The presenter has the full picture on what Quinto's revolt means for Paramount's next move.
I don't think it would be yours. Maybe they wouldn't have heard about it, because there was really no advertising push behind it. Isn't that what you were for? I mean, you came out with incredible viral marketing videos like this.
The ceremony changed everything. March 2026. The Saturn Awards. The night the Legends stopped talking among themselves and started planning their attack. Alex Kurtzman received a consolation award that night. Insiders called it an insult dressed up as a trophy, a participation ribbon for a man who burned one of the most valuable franchises in television history to the ground. According to people in the room, the legacy stars watched that presentation from their seats and felt something shift. Frustration hardened into something colder, something coordinated, because here is what that award represented. Discovery canceled. Picard's final season propped up by nostalgia for a cast Kurtzman spent years sidelining. Strange New Worlds bleeding subscribers, and the man responsible for all of it walks up to a podium and accepts a trophy. That was the trigger. Sources confirm the Saturn Awards night is the exact moment the conference room ultimatum went from conversation to strategy. From that night forward, the Legends began coordinating. Calls were made, messages were sent. A plan was assembled with the kind of precision you only get from people who have been patient for a very long time and have finally decided they are done being patient. The fans who have been screaming into the void for years were not wrong. The Legends were watching, and one man who has been tracking every move of this franchise rebellion is Gary from Nerdrotic. Here is what he has to say about the Saturn Awards flashpoint.
In one movie, the fucking narrative out there that YouTubers got this show canceled. Well, I would absolutely.
Is right.
Yeah, it's true. That's all. Never mind.
I would like to
being humble.
Gary laid out the public picture. Now here is the kill shot nobody saw coming. The legends did not just walk into that conference room with complaints. They walked in with a weapon. And that weapon had a name. David Ellison. Skydance. When Skydance completed its acquisition of Paramount, it handed the legacy stars a piece of leverage that Kurtzman never anticipated. Sources confirm back-channel communications between the Skydance camp and the franchise's legacy representatives were already in motion before that conference room meeting ever happened. This was not improvised. This was surgical. The central demand of the franchise rebellion is now confirmed. Kurtzman's contract termination, not a restructure, not a reduced role. Termination. Full stop. Because Skydance did not buy Paramount to inherit a Star Trek in freefall. David Ellison paid billions for an asset, and an asset bleeding subscribers, canceling shows, and generating toxic press is not what he signed up for. The legends understood that. They weaponized it. Item 1. Skydance's acquisition created a contractual review window that Kurtzman's existing deal did not anticipate. Item 2. Back-channel communications confirmed by insiders placed Kurtzman's position directly on the table. Item 3. The legacy stars walked into that conference room knowing Ellison's team was already listening. That is not a complaint. That is a coordinated strike. And the fans who have been demanding accountability for years finally had allies inside the building with the firepower to back it up. Ryan Cannell has been tracking the Skydance angle closer than anyone.
And the fate of Starfleet Academy after Season 2 is very up in the air. Could this be the end of Star Trek on Paramount Plus? God, I hope so. Or modern Star Trek, sorry, yeah. God, I hope so.
Here is his breakdown. Ryan just showed you the external pressure. Here is what happened inside Paramount within 48 hours of that conference room meeting. The phones rang off the hook. Executives described by insiders as scrambling. Not spinning, not messaging. Scrambling. That is the word used by sources with direct knowledge of those hallways. The first genuine blink from Paramount's leadership in over a decade. One executive attempted to defend Kurtzman in an internal meeting. According to people in that room, what followed was a nuclear dressing down. The kind of dressing down that ends careers. The kind that makes other people in the room suddenly find their shoes very interesting. Insiders confirm the exact words from the ultimatum are still being whispered in studio hallways right now. Not summarized, not paraphrased. The actual words. Because what the legend said in that room landed with enough force that nobody who heard it has been able to shake it. This is confirmed. The most destabilizing internal event in the modern era of this franchise. Not the Discovery cancellation. Not the Picard controversy. This. The moment the legend stopped asking and started demanding, and Paramount blinked. The fans built this pressure over years. The legends delivered it in one room. And now, the entire studio knows it cannot dismiss either group anymore. And here is where the line gets drawn permanently. The legends in that room made one declaration that has since been cited everywhere. We are the last generation who understands what Star Trek is. 6 decades of franchise history, sitting in one conference room, delivering one ultimatum. Robert Beltran, Chakotay from Voyager, had already lit the fuse publicly. His tweets calling out the writers directly, "The writers have no talent," became the rallying cry that proved this revolt was not isolated. Not one angry actor, not one bad interview, a coordinated, generational rejection. And the fans heard every word. 232,000 people watched the ultimatum story detonate online within days of it breaking. That number is not a coincidence. That is a fan base that has been waiting for someone with enough credibility and enough history to say what they have been screaming for years. Item 1. The public record is now established. Item 2. The cast rebellion is documented. Item 3. The studio response is on the clock. The message from the legends is explicit. Fix it now. Restore what Star Trek actually is. Or face scorched earth public truth-telling from the people who built this franchise with their careers. Paramount cannot call these people fringe voices. It cannot dismiss 6 decades of combined history. The line is drawn, and the legends who drew it are not bluffing. The legends who built Star Trek are now its only line of defense. Subscribe. Real fans demand real Star Trek.